Hello, happy day, and welcome back. This is episode 4, and with Power Beasting, we are here focusing on feminine wellness and the alternatives that elevates the feminine well-being. So let's get started on today's episode. Today, we are bringing our focus to the cervix. And let me be honest, when I hear or say cervix, at the same time, I'm getting this picture of my last pap smear. And I don't know, it kind of left me feeling kind of unease. But thank goodness, today's topic is going to leave us more with an ecstasy type of feeling. So let's begin. So this blog is called The Mystical Cervical Orgasm. This was written by, and you can find this article on selfcervix.com. So let's get it. And mystical it is. When I first began this work, I was amazed by what I call an epidemic of numb or painful cervixes. When I first began this work, I couldn't feel a thing on my cervix, and I speak to many women who haven't felt cervical pleasure. Quite the opposite. They associate the cervix with the uncomfortable feeling of having a pap smear. You see what I'm talking about? It's enough to put people off exploring the cervix. Why are they numb? Well, for many reasons, ranging from medical trauma, penetrating too soon, shame, or just a lack of awareness. Before we even get started, just the fact that I could tell where this is going. The fact I'm excited just to continue reading. So the first step to learning to feel cervical pleasure is actually learning to feel something or working with discomfort if that's what is there for you. Commonly, you'll hear it normal for the cervix to feel uncomfortable. Normal, maybe, but not natural. You see, this is actually interesting that she said that it's not natural, because the last pap smear I had, not only did it leave me like I was like bleeding for 3 days after that pap smear. I just felt so like uncomfortable. Like it was just the weirdest feeling in my bottom region of my stomach, and it just was so much discomfort. And I just knew that wasn't a natural feeling to feel, right? So that is interesting that she's speaking on finding pleasure, because I was just like, is that just an area that's just sensitive? But yeah, I'm glad that she's speaking on the pleasure in in your cervical region. So let's continue. It was the science and the orgasm researcher Dr. Barry Kay who discovered the cervix has its own neural pathway to orgasm during his research on people with spinal cord injury. He found with cervical stimulation, his subjects could experience pleasure and orgasms via the vagus nerve, which does not connect to the spine. Dr. Berry playing with people's cervix. This was an amazing discovery because it proved the cervix is a pathway to pleasure and orgasm independent of our other pleasure anatomy. In fact, it is the only organ in the body connected to 3 sets of paired nerves. It is definitely meant to feel. Interesting. So my question is, how come people been feeling pain more? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you push it to feel the pleasure part? So I guess we need to continue. I'm over here asking questions before we even continue. So the cervical orgasm feels like deep pulsing pleasure, which spread across the entire abdomen, and sometimes and sometimes the whole body. Whereas the clitoral orgasm feels quite localized and has a buildup of tension followed by a release. So the cervical orgasm doesn't follow this linear progression. This feels more circular. You can't reach for it or aim to get there. It seems to arrive and expand. Oh, I like the sound of that. Sometimes it pulses in subtle waves of expansion. Other times it is powerful and can go on for a very long time. It's difficult to explain because the language has nothing to do with the process and usually gets in the way. In fact, we need to be in a state of deep surrender and no mind to give space for it to unfold. This is why you cannot quest for it. Setting it as a goal just activates your sympathetic nervous system, whereas cervical orgasm takes place in a prolonged, relaxed state, riding the waves of pleasure that occurs when you are deeply present. The first time it happened for me, I was in a hotel room in Rome. I mean, what in Rome? I mean, I think a lot. Rome, that's already a great atmosphere to even catch any type of pleasure. So that's already. She says I was so happy and my heart was completely open. Another important factor. I decided to do my practice and work with my cervix. I sat quiet, still with my fingers on my cervix for about 20 minutes, and then slowly the sensation grew into a deep, full body throb. My sense of physical limit appears to dissolve and expand. And this is what's special about the cervical orgasm. It can be a mystical, cosmic unfolding. This is why they are also known as a tantric orgasm, because they can be spiritually profound. I wonder if she was in a state of highness, not just only high off life, but did she take any herbs to elevate this sensation, like this surrendering sensation? Did she do any DMT, any psychedelics, or was this just pure her? That I am very curious about that. So check out these experiences from women in the self-cervix community. So she went to share in her community what women have experienced from this. So I'm going to read these quotes. It says, I see beautiful mandalas and had visions and been told information. One woman said, I have experienced amazing states of infinity and expansions, images of universal spaciousness, holy peaceful places, and love making with partners in my solo orgasmic yoga practice. Another woman said, it is an all body experience of elation and bliss in which I am transported to another state and place while also being able to see from above. My thinking becomes very clear and I feel huge concept to do with the universe, life purpose, in a sense that everything is as it should be despite how things appear on global sphere. So like I need to get my cervix touched in a loving way. One woman said, I am going through a black tunnel and I don't know what's happening, sort of like dying and at the same time total exhilarating. And then also huge expansion and deep, deep relaxation. And I was wondering how the world can go on normally and why isn't everyone screaming about this off the rooftops? Interesting. Another woman saying, melting and pulsing out into ecstatic timelessness, expanded, clear, profound, unity being, everything in slow motion, pure ecstatic, celestial embodied in the void. I'm looking forward. I am looking forward to be saying the same thing these women saying. So another one says, it feels like all edge disappear and I became one with my partner, with the universe, with all that exists. It feels ecstatic, like I am completely filled with love, completely fluid, open. It's like everything becomes energy, flowing, connecting in a state of pure love and joy. It feels soft and surrendered. When it comes, I never want to leave this place. Dang. If that doesn't like have your mind curious on the great benefit and the healing effect of a cervical orgasm, I don't know what else can convince you, okay? So let's move forward. There is no science to prove what exactly is going on here, but the common theory is that the body is releasing DMT. So, okay, that's really cool to know. So DMT naturally occurs in many plants and is the psychoactive ingredients in the plant medicine ayahuasca. DMT produce intense psychedelic transcendent experiences similar to those described during cervical orgasm. Research on rodents suggests it possible we also have our own DMT supply that is emitted via the lung or pineal gland. But we can't be sure as unfortunately science has dropped the ball on endogenous DMT research. How to feel the mystical cervical orgasm. Wait, let me go back actually before I move forward. Yeah. See, they don't want y'all to have a happy orgasm. Because let a woman find out how to have a blissful experience through thyself. And oh man, things with domino effect of the world would would be so tremendous. Like when I say an overnight world healing will happen, I really believe that, okay? So, anywho, let me just move forward before I start ranting. But how to feel the mystical cervical orgasm. Depending on where you're at in your healing journey, there are many paths to cervical orgasm. It is a non-linear process, so there isn't exactly step by step, but here are three important factors that seem to be important across the board when it comes to experiencing this sublime state. First, and most importantly, you need to awaken sensation at the cervix with dedicated and regular cervical stimulation. You might find your cervix is numb or uncomfortable. When I first began my practice, it took me up to 20 minutes before I started feeling something. So be patient. At first, when I felt wasn't that nice, but it changed over time. So at first, what I felt wasn't that nice, but it changed over time. Number two, refrain from clitoral orgasm. That's like telling a guy to refrain from touching his head while he's masturbating. Oh Lord. But anywho, I know this is a tough one for many. As lovely as they follow a goal-oriented, tension-based process. There is a peak and a drop. So in order to feel a cervical orgasm, you have to be able to stay relaxed and prolong your sexual encounters. Giving up on clitoral orgasm during this process also trains your brain to start feeling the subtleties of your inner world. Number three, give yourself time. You need to be very turned on. When you're aroused, your cervix move out of the way for deep penetration. This means getting good at asking for what you want and setting the pace. You need to feel okay about taking as much time as you like. And number four, feel the love. Eastern sexuality practices has always linked the cervix with the heart. Wow, I actually want to research on that. In Taoist sexual, I messed that one. In Taoist sexual reflexology, I know I kind of messed that word up. Don't come at me. Don't come for me. The cervix is the heart point. So whenever I've experienced expanding cervical pleasure, I come into my heart. During self-pleasure, I focus on feeling of love. During partner sex, it happens if you're in love with your partner, but you don't have to be. Simply tapping into feelings of love is enough to open the channel between cervix and heart. So, cervical orgasm merges sexuality and spirituality so beautifully. It is without question another way to experience the depth of who we are. It blows my mind that the place from which we were born also has a potential to blast us back to experiencing oneness and love. It can take a while to break the patterns that prevent cervical pleasure, but for me, if the cervix has the potential to show me more of who I really am, all the patience and time is worth it. Wow, I really, really enjoy this article. So, ladies, how do you feel about that? If you have had this experience and can testify about this, I would love to hear about this and your way, because she did give steps, but what were your steps to get into this and how long did it take you? But this is something that seems like a great alternative to elevate your feminine wellness. So please tune in again for next week following topic. Let me know in the comment if you have experienced this. And I want to just release you and let you go into your wonderful day. And just have a beautiful day, ladies. And with love always, Power V Steam.